Hello, everyone. Welcome to my wood shop here. Um, oh, I forgot to take something off the screen. Okay, technology. I love it. Uh, okay, so here I am for my wood turning tool talk, and I've got a couple of things planned for today. But first, I want to welcome all of you. And I put some of the names up on the screen of people who are here. We've got people from all over the place. Let's see. Steve in Arizona and Glenn in Florida and Dick is in Texas. A lot of people are from Texas, the West Bank of New Jersey, and Mike from Prescott, uh, another Mike from Oregon. And I know there was, Connie is here from New Zealand and Finn from Denmark. Don't you love it? This is really a worldwide community. And Jim is from Oregon also. My good friend Lyle Jameson is here, and Todd Raines is here. Todd is in the studio today, so we'll get to say hello to him a little bit later. Roy, always great to see you. And and our friend David Perez in Oregon, the Nutcracker guy. So yeah, so great to have everyone here. And I kind of have a plan here that what I want to do is I showed some tools last session 2 weeks ago, and I'd like to show you how I sharpen those tools. And just to um, give you a little stuff here, we're not going to do it all right now, but this is where I am. And I do these sessions every 2 weeks. So you can sign up and let's see here. We have my subscribe here, sign up for my newsletter. It's in the comments. And we also have, if I can find it, yes, a QR code to subscribe. Well, but it's there on the big screen too. All right. Well, yeah, and more stuff that's coming up a little later, but I want to get into just doing some stuff first. I have these couple of tools I showed last session, and I want to show you how I sharpen them today, and maybe some other things if we have time for other stuff. So here are the tools. Let's get a little closer in here. In here. So this is one. This is a side cutting scraper for the inside of a box. And if I hold it parallel to the bed of the lathe by the line of the cutting edge, it will make a parallel inside of a box with a little radius in the corner. Now, when I first started doing this one, I made it symmetrical beveled. So we've got a 25-degree bevel on top and bottom. 2 bevels is what makes it a negative rake scraper and makes it a little easier cutting, less grabby, and a finer finish. So why do I need a symmetrical bevel? Oh, well, usually the reason is because I'll have a tool like this one, which I might use this way, and I might use this way on the outside of something. And well, for this side cutting box scraper, I am never going to use it this way. Probably not. I mean, you could, I suppose, but that's not my plan. So now I'm working on making it a little bit kind of easier to support and sharpen by putting my 25-degree on the top, and I extended it long so that now the back of the bevel is our line up with the lathe bed line. And then I'm sharpening it with 40 on the bottom, giving a little bit wider support on the tool rest. So I can get, this is compared to the other one, so I can get a little maybe closer to the tool rest sometimes, possibly. Negative rake scrapers, the angles are not as critical as a lot of people would expect. This one has a 65-degree included angle, 25 on the top and 40 on the bottom. This one has a 50-degree included angle, 25 on both sides. That's my typical for a form scraper. But, it's not a big deal either way. And 40 is an angle that I always have a platform set for because my gouges are all ground with a 40-degree bevel angle. Right. Okay. So how am I going to sharpen either this newer version? This is still kind of an experimental tool. So if you buy one, I'm shipping them like this. You may have gotten one already and it was like this. If you don't like if you want to try the 40 and 25, maybe the burr will last a little longer. Maybe it'll be a little less aggressive because it's a more obtuse angle. Just sharpen it with a 40 on the bottom. Why not? All right, so when I sharpen these, I'm going to sharpen only the bottom bevel. I'm never going to touch the top bevel until it disappears. So let's go to the grinder. I've got a camera over here at my grinder. And so I'm going to go, and I won't be able to be in the shot though, because the camera is over here. So you're not going to see me. You're just going to see my hands, and hopefully everything will work out all right while I'm over there. So I've got the platform right now set to a 25-degree angle, and let's go over the grinder now. And I'm going to bring a couple of other things. Well, now I'll come back. All right. So we're going to do this here, which is a double 25-degree bevel angle. And I could use an angle gauge like this to set it up, and that'll give me my 25-degree angle, which is what I want. I don't actually have that particular angle, and I set it up according to the tool, because all my tools, I always keep the platform set up, and all my tools are ground on the same platform, and that just makes it real easy. So now if I turn the grinder on, well, what I'm going to do first is I'm not going to sharpen the top bevel unless I'm making one of these, in which case I will sharpen the top bevel on the platform this way and around the corner. But once I've got the top bevel on, while I'm turning, I'll never sharpen the top bevel. I only need to sharpen the bottom and raise a burr on the top. So I'm going to sharpen it, keeping the angle of the profile parallel to the scribed line, which is how I keep it oriented with the bed of the lathe. So here's my grinder. This is a high-speed grinder, and I'm just going to go across, keeping it perpendicular to the face of the wheel, and then I'm going to come down, and I'm looking for a little burr on the top, which I can see the light shining on it, and that's all there is to it for sharpening. Now, what about this other one? The other one's going to use a 40-degree bevel, so I like to, instead of resetting my platform, because you can't really do that while the grinder is running, I don't want to have to wait for the grinder to wind down and then do it. So I've got another platform here that I've already set to my 40-degree angle, and I set it using this angle gauge at 40, but I can't do that now or I'll grind away my angle gauge. So the one that's got, oh, and I have to take the tool out of the handle here. I don't need to take the tool out of the handle to sharpen it, except that there's a wall over there, and I can't get the long handle on the grinder without some interference. So I've got a 40-degree angle set on the platform. I've got a 40-degree angle on the bottom bevel of this tool. So I'm going to do the same thing here, which is I'm just going to run the tool along my grinding wheel, keeping the line perpendicular to the edge of the wheel and then around the radius, and I've got a nice burr on the top. Let's see if you can see it a little closer here. I don't know if you can see the burr. If I hold it just right in the light, I can see it. But this is what I've done, is sharpen this bottom bevel. So that's all there is to it. Now I have a couple of sharp tools. And I can put them back in their handles. Here's the kind of handle, just for your information. The kind of handle system I like to use is I've got these handle adapters that I glue into my own wood handle, and the round hole will accept the rectangular tang and tighten the screws down on the top of it. Okay, so we see if we got some questions here. I was gone and couldn't see the interface here. All righty. Oh, Michael from Slovakia, great to see you here. And Hans from the Netherlands. And Ladan from Toronto. She's going to be in my class next week. Yay. Oh, another Canadian. Henri, perhaps? Or Henry. Ah, KK, our good friend. And Paul Millo, good to see you here. All kinds of people from all over the place. Jennifer is from the UK, I believe. Now, and I don't know what your real name is, Dances with Aardvarks wants to see the underside of the platform. Okay, so let me go grab one. Here's a platform. And so this is the Stuart Batty. Let's get me out of here. Grinder platform. It has a trunnion system here for raising and for changing the angle, which means when you change the angle, this trunnion system slides in a little track there, and it pivots about this point, which is, well, I've done some shouldn't have done it customizing, but it pivots right about the edge of the wheel, which means unlike the Wolverine style platform, which comes out further away when you tilt it up to this kind of an angle, this one stays right there. This carrier here is what goes into the base mounted on the grinder, and it's got a couple of knobs to tighten it up. I really wasn't prepared to talk about the platform today, so I don't have a camera right on that. So, oh, here's another thing about this. They come with these little round knobs, and my hands, I hate to admit getting old and arthritic or anything, but a lot of you might be old and arthritic. And those tiny little knobs, I mean, Stu designed this when he was in his 40s or something, and it was easy to turn those and tighten them up. I replaced them with these L-shaped knobs, which you can get from MSC, because it's a lot easier to loosen and tighten to change the angle. So there we are. That's the platform. That's this tool here with a 40-degree bottom bevel. So any questions about the tools, go ahead and ask them right now while we're here. I think that's it for questions about this tool. So I showed how I use it last time, and I think I pretty well described how I use this tool in the last session. So Chuck's got a good point. They'd work better if they were knurled. They're not knurled. What they are is they're a kind of a flower shape, which is cool looking, but it doesn't give you the grip that a rough knurling would give you. Correct. Also, if they were larger in diameter, they would give you more mechanical advantage over the screw, and they'd be a little easier to tighten up. So, yeah, I just have fixed it on my own there, but they do work fine. And the ones at that hold the base and the carrier, those round knobs are not a problem getting tight. It's only where the angle adjustment is that I find that if I don't tighten it up pretty good and I'm pushing on it with a tool, it can move. All right. So the other tool that I was showing last session is this one here. And that's as zoomed in as we get, I think. So let me zoom in a little more so you can see it better. And I'm going to have to refocus. Yep, I am going to have to refocus. See if it'll work here. Oh, very good. Okay. Oh, well, on the other hand, this is what I really meant to do. So this tool is 1/4 of an inch, 6 millimeters in diameter, and it is sharpened with a top and bottom bevel, 25 degrees each one, and it's round bar. So I can't just put it flat on the platform. I have to hold it in position. So let's go over and sharpen this one right quick. Over here, over here. Where are we? There we are. So that platform that's on there right now is the 40-degree one. So what I'm going to do is take it off and put in my 25 again. And this tool just gets sharpened on the platform, set at a 25-degree angle on either side. And the problem or the skill here is that being round bar, there's nothing automatically orienting it to where the edge is going to be sharpened perpendicular to the shaft or parallel to the other bevel. So I am holding it and gradually going up to the wheel so that I get it lined up, and I'm holding it to where it's perpendicular to the edge of the wheel here. And that's really all I have to do. I'm trying to maintain a 90-degree angle. Oh, I guess you can't really see that too well, can you? That was an oversight. Let's go back over here. So I can do the other side also. I'm holding it perpendicular to the edge of the wheel. And I'm going to grind until I get 90 degrees across the end. So that means I have a 90-degree angle between the edge and the shaft of the tool. So that's all there is to this one too. And so there we are. This was what I had on my agenda for today. So what else am I going to do? Well, I come up with something else too. Here's a good point. If you sharpen only one side, doesn't it get progressively uneven and short on the top? Well, yeah, it does. And so I have several tools that are exactly that way. And when I sharpen them only on one side, like some of them I do tend to sharpen them only on one side on purpose, and others it just kind of happens that way. So here is a good example of, not that one, this one, a tool where I only sharpen the bottom bevel because I'm never going to use it the other way around. And this one is used parallel to the bed of the lathe to cut a parallel sided recess. And when I sharpen it, it's just getting progressively smaller, narrower on the top. No problem. That top bevel does not need to be all it needs to be is there. How long it is has absolutely no bearing on the cut because the cut is only happening right at the edge. So until it gets down to where there's just, half a millimeter of top bevel left, the cut has not changed by the top bevel being narrower. So if I'm talking about, let's say, this tool, or let's get out a little more so it's easier to orient stuff. Or let's say this one has a narrower top bevel. It's 25 degrees on both sides. This is not how I'm doing this tool currently, but it's how I started with it. And so I'll explain how it would go with this one. If you're making one, well, it's easy to do the same angle on top and bottom. So once I have this angle here, every time I sharpen it, it's going to get a little narrower and narrower. And I'm lining it up with the bed of the lathe using this scratched line on there. So once the top bevel is gone, I can put it on the grinder at a 25-degree platform setting and sharpen it some more, making the top bevel wider. I don't need to make the top bevel sharp. I just need to replenish it after it's gone. So what I'm doing for this tool now is I've got this top bevel really wide. So this is going to represent a lot of years of sharpening this tool. And if the top bevel gets so narrow that it's not doing any good anymore, then I'll put it back on the platform at 25 degrees and make it wider. So that's how I deal with that. It doesn't matter if the top bevel and the bottom bevel are not the same length. There are some tools I have that kind of accidentally, like this one, like let's say I use it this way up a lot more than I use it this way up. So the tendency is for me to get both the bottom bevel a lot longer. And what I often will do is I will sharpen both bevels just because that keeps them kind of the same. They don't have to be the same. You can see that one's a little narrower than that one is. And it doesn't have to be the same. Here's another one that's famous for me using it in this orientation a lot more than I use it in this orientation. And so it'll tend to be longer bevel on this side, but I often will sharpen both because, not for any good reason mechanically, but just because I'm sort of a fiend for symmetry. Kind of like symmetry. All right, so a couple of questions here. For sharpening the pyramid tool, oh yes, one of my live streams, and you can look it up on my YouTube channel. I know there's a lot on there, but there's one that talks about the pyramid tool, and I showed how to make a handle for the pyramid that basically is the sharpening jig. And cool, David, that's great that you're doing that. And yeah, have to fix that platform with those knobs. Yeah, there's another person who might need some assistance with the hands. What grit wheel am I using there? That's a 180 grit wheel. Any grit will work. A finer grit wheel like a 400 or 600 will allow the tool to last longer because you're taking less metal off, but it also takes longer to do the job, which is not necessarily so great in my feeling. So on those things with the really wide bevels, I use a 180. Oh, do I dip the tool and tip in water to keep it cool? I don't anymore. And there are two things on the grinder that I do. One is grinding, which means I'm making a tool. I start with a square off blank and I'm creating, like starting with a square or rectangular blank, and I'm doing all this grinding and then this big long bevel here. That's grinding. The other thing I do is what I just showed you on the wheel there. That's sharpening. That means I am renewing the edge because I was using the tool. And I don't ever find a need to cool a tool while sharpening. But what I do for grinding, and this is genius, I got it from Doug Thompson. I use compressed air. I have a little nozzle with a magnetic base on it, and I stick it to my grinder, and I do it so that I'm blowing compressed air on the edge of the tool as it's on the wheel. And I only do that on my coarse stone wheel that I use for the major bulk removal. I don't find I ever need it on the CBNs, but I'm not removing lots of material with a CBN. I'm only doing that with the stone wheel, and then I go to CBN for the finishing. So compressed air, you got to kind of have a beefy compressor though. Yeah, I have a big old tall big compressor. Yeah. So when I'm making a tool, I describe the process, starting with a stone wheel and then moving to CBN. Well, the stone wheel that I do all my rough grinding with when I'm making a tool, forming it from scratch, is a 46 grit Norton 3X ceramic aluminum oxide combo wheel. Your average regular wheel that came with your grinder is worthless compared to those Norton 3X wheels. And they only perform at their best if you dress them often. So basically, consider it a resource that gets used up as the job gets done. All the stone ends up on the floor. The more often you dress it, the faster the work gets done. And if you start seeing it seem like it's burning and going slow, dress the wheel. I use one of those star wheel dressers, the old-fashioned kind. Okay, so any other questions about this? Yeah, bring them on. I do have a piece of wood here, so next I'm going to do a little bit of turning. But let's take a moment to talk about some things. I've got Todd here in the studio, so we'll let him make an appearance. Here we are with me. This coming week, I am doing a hands-on class at Stuart Batty's shop in Boulder. 5 days of intense wood turning, and we're going to make some boxes and some finials and some boxes with finials. You'll get to learn how to do a couple of different ways to do an inlay and an insert in a box, different lid fit techniques, my burl coloring technique, and I'm going to bring all my tools so you can experiment with the tools that you might want to make yourself, or you might want to buy one. So that's coming up this Monday. And my good friend Todd, who is here, let's bring Todd in. Can we do that this way? This way? There we are. Hello, Todd. So Todd does the same thing I do every other Friday.
Yeah, that was fun last Friday. Working with those wooden jaws and then popping that little bowl off. So I'll be on next week. So I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but there we go.
It'll be good though, whatever it is.
Yep.
So when I said he does the same thing as me, I don't mean he does the same thing as me. I mean, he does a program at the same time on the same day of the week. Every other Friday, you can see me this week and Todd next week and me the week after, etc. That's
We've been doing
it
this for a few years now, I think.
So. Yeah, quite a few. 3 years, I think.
At least, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Oh, we've done a lot of fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you can see Todd there, and you can also see both of us doing a sharing session, and this is a Zoom meeting where you can show pictures of pieces of your work. You can actually hold a piece up. You can ask questions of us or anyone in the audience. It's a great time for sharing ideas.
Yeah, we haven't picked a date yet. I was just looking at the calendar.
Sometime in December is what I wrote on the slide here.
Yeah, the 5th is a Friday and the 12th is a Friday. Either yours or mine. I think we don't want to do anything closer to the 19th or anything. So.
You mean Christmas time?
Yeah. 5th, 12th or 19th.
Yeah. So I just put the link to Todd's website to find his sessions. You get on his newsletter, and he'll send out the direct links for them, as well as the Zoom link for these sharing sessions. And then for me, you sign up for my newsletter in the comments there once again. And I send out for today's thing and also for the Zoom sharing sessions.
Yes.
So we'll let you know what day it is in December, but because we also have a vendor showcase coming, it won't be in November. So Saturday, November 15th, vendor showcase.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we have Lyle here. Sometimes Joe shows up at these things. Lyle Jameson, Joe Fleming, Steve Worcester, Todd, and me is vendor showcase.
Yep.
And we have a great time.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. So I've got my collaborative sitting here just to finish off. I got to get that off to Joe here pretty quick. So
yeah, you were working on that couple weeks ago in one of your live streams.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with finishes and stuff inside my little bowl here. You can't see anything in there yet, but.
And then Joe Fleming is going to do something carving.
He's going to do a lid. Yep.
Yeah, I think Todd said, "You're going to do carving or painting?" And Joe said, "Yep."
Yep. Both.
So all of the above. Yeah. So these are fun. And then we have a charity auction for the San Diego Humane Society and auction off the pieces we've made, some collaborations usually, and sometimes we'll just make something for the auction. Now, these are not demo pieces. These are finished pieces, not like what we made in 20 minutes during the show. But one of the things that I have in my possession is a collaboration between me, Todd, and Emma Cook. I've shown this on the live streams before, and I didn't bring it over today. Silly girl. But yeah. So that one will be there. And yeah, hope to see you. If you're on either of our newsletter lists or Joe's or Lyle's or Steve's, you'll get a notification and the Zoom link when closer to time for this.
Yeah, and we've been doing these for now
more than that. The first one was the 2020 COVID AAW first virtual when everything got canceled, and they they canceled the Thursday vendor thing that we were used to seeing on doing at the AAW symposium. So we said, hey, let's do our own.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And vendor showcase was born.
Yep.
John Jordan is still on the list there, but he is obviously not participating live anymore. So.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're hoping to have Emma here. Emma's going to be busy November 15th, so she was going to make an appearance, but she can't. She's a working girl, so she's
a busy girl, man. That lady, I mean, I remember being 40 as well, and it was a lot different than being 67, believe me.
Yeah. Got a lot of good energy, so
all right. Stuff.
Well, thanks for having me, Cindy.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait a minute. What am I doing? I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna tell you about some other stuff here. I am doing another IRD on October 25th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. And I'll be using, it's a hollow form. I'll show it to you in a minute. I'm going to be using the Trent Bosch stabilizer, which is a new tool I got. So I'll be showing you how that goes and a little bit about how it compares with some other things. And that's really fun. It's pretty good. Oh, and where did I find beaded ginger? Just you wait. I'm going to show you right now. We have our ginger jar here. No, I want to do that. That's what it looks like. And a ginger jar is kind of a traditional thing. In the ancient Asia, they made these kind of jars to carry spices in. And I'm doing kind of my take on it. So let me just grab it and show you what we have here. I'm going to need to zoom out a bit to get the whole thing in the picture. And we'll just go over here a little bit too. Is that as far as we go? Oh, no. I got technology issues again, yet again. So we'll just get rid of me. Is that enough out? A little more. All right. And we better focus. Always need to, once again, focus. So this is my rendition of a ginger jar. Ginger, for any of you who, like KK, might have several of them, is a coloring of the orange stripy cat is called ginger. Now Carter, this is my friend Carter, he's not really the bright orange that all of KK's beautiful boys are. He's more of a tan color, a beige, a buff color, but I call him a ginger. So the beaded ginger, well, he doesn't have any beads on him. Yes, Kashet, Noah, and Shem, all very, very nice, traditional, gingery kind of boy cats. I love them. And so Carter's the ginger. Oh, he's the color that ginger really is. Now, if you take powdered ginger in your spice jar, it's more like his color, not like those typical orange cats. But anyway, Carter just wants to make an appearance. But here is a traditional ginger jar. And I have kind of made a few adaptations of my own, some to, because I thought the beads would look really cool, especially on this ash with the grainy wood. What beads do to grainy wood is pretty cool stuff. And I've made a few little changes, like the foot shape here. I think this looks more elegant than this does. Just my feeling, I guess. And I've done some things to accommodate the beads, and I like an OG better than the traditional ginger jar. So here's something about this. It's a hollow form, and this is about the easiest hollow form shape you're ever going to be able to do. So if you're new to hollowing, come and watch this, and you'll see that hollowing can be very, very easy. I have put a threaded ring in here so that you could actually make this a little bigger and make it an urn too. And that gives me the ability, somebody didn't realize about grain match on a threaded insert. It's easy. All you do is orient it as you're gluing it in. But me, bonehead that I was earlier today, I forgot about that. So I am going to have to now take down this top rim to get the grain match. But in the demo, of course, I will do it right. And that's what it's supposed to look like. Nice little grain match with the sapwood and the heartwood. I love it. I just love it. So my goal was Connie's suggestion that to make it a little more elegant than the traditional, which is nice. And they often will have patterning on them, but I think my rendition is more elegant. Yeah, that's the idea. And I've sized it to fit that threaded insert. I could have made smaller ones or bigger ones. This threaded insert here is available, commercially available. And of course, you can make your own. You can find them in the plumbing department and that sort of thing. We've got hollow. I'm thinking, something could be done with this hollow in here, like maybe make another lid and this is a little compartment or something. That's a possibility too. Of course, this form looks great without the beads too. All right, so that's pretty much what's coming up for me. We do, as always, have a very nice ginger cat available. And you can see his markings a little better here. Carter's in the next room. All right, so there's my upcoming excitement. And what I'm going to do today is give away a couple of tickets to that session, which is October 25th. Did I say that? Let's see if I did. October 25th, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, I know my little logo is covering it up too, but you get the idea. So we're going to do that at the end of this session today in maybe about 10 minutes. Yay, David's got a couple of very nice cats too. Mo always comes and watches the demos. Hi, I'm good to see you here. And Gordon, no need to apologize for being late. You know, you can watch this on a video also. It's recorded. Just ordered extra bits for his Trent Bosch stabilizer. Okay, so here's someone who likes this Trent Bosch, and good point here. It's not like this is better than the Jameson system I usually use. It's more like they have different places in the shop. They have pluses and minuses each one, and I'm just checking it out really because there's a lot of stuff out there that's worth doing. The hollowing is what we would call end grain hollowing. And by that, I mean the grain of the wood is parallel to the bed of the lathe. That means that when you're hollowing, the easiest cutting is from the center out, not from the end in, because you want to always be cutting the side grain. And so, yeah, end grain hollowing. Why did I do it that way? Well, number one, when I have a lid, I like to see the grain of the wood be consistent all the way around. Whereas if you have grain perpendicular to the bed of the lathe, then when the wood moves, it'll shrink in one direction and not in the other, and your threads can be oval. So whenever I have a fitted lid, particularly a threaded one, I like to have the grain running parallel so that it's the same sort of thing all the way around. And if there is any change, it'll probably just be symmetrical change. Okay. All right. So that ginger jar has beads on it. And what I did for beads is I bought some D-Way beading tools. I've got a whole assortment of them. And this piece of wood on the lathe here, I'm just going to show you a very quick little bit of beads because I can't do a session like this without making any chips. I should have made the chips first so that everybody would keep their attention here. How big of a piece did I start with for the ginger jar? I have a drawing of it with all the dimensions laid out, but basically I started with a 5-inch diameter that was 9 inches long. I made the lid. Let's bring it. Oh, okay. Let me do this. It's going to be a little easier. I made the lid out of the same blank so that the grain match is running through the piece. And I rough hollowed it because the wood was not bone dry. And then did the final turning after it's dry. And yes, I love them too. D-Way beading tools. D-Way is a good company too. All right, so we're going to do a quick couple of beads, and then we're going to do a drawing for 2 tickets to my class on the 25th. So what I have here is a piece of wood, and it's ash. This is like the end cut off of one of those blanks for the ginger jar, and I'm first going to make a kind of a dome shape, and then I'm going to bead that. So let's start with bowl gouge here. The grain direction of this piece of wood is parallel to the bed of the lathe, so I'm cutting it basically like a spindle. And this is the ginger jar too. It's going to be cut like a spindle. I'm using my 40-40 grind bowl gouge. And now I have a little bit of a shape. Get closer here. And reset, maybe a little better there. And I'm going to use the, let's do a couple of them. This is the largest one. It's 3/8, which would be 10 millimeters. And Jay's got a comment here. They work best by gently swinging the handle side to side, and that leaves score lines from the tip of the tool. I I do the same thing, side to side thingy, and let's get into that in a minute. The insert is available from Niles Bottle Stoppers, and I don't have a ready to go link for it, unfortunately. So if you didn't get that, Niles, Niles Bottle Stopper, somebody want to put that in the, somebody out here knows them and might put that in the comments, that'd be great. I have used the 4040 jig from Ron Brown. I don't use that, but I did a live stream showing how it does give a pretty reasonable facsimile of a 4040, the best I've seen from a jig, but I use a platform. So let's make a bead. I'm going to put it with the bead bottom or the corners down on the tool rest. I guess you could do it this way too, but most people do them this way. And I'm really just scraping the bead. I've got my tool rest parallel to the surface, and I've got the handle a little low, but I don't find it makes much difference. Handle high, handle really low. Now I've made a bead, and let's just relieve either side of it. And then I'm going to make another bead right next to it. Thank you very much, KK. That's NilesBottleStoppers.com. They have those inserts. So I find that does a nice job. I've sort of fishtailed back and forth. Let's look at that from another perspective here while I do it, so you can kind of see what I meant by the, and also what Jay meant by the side to side thing. I'm going to put the tool in where it's going to go, aiming the corner to end up at the other bead's corner, and I'm turning until I see that little middle part disappear. So basically, there was a flat on the wood, and I cut until I could see the flat was gone. Now, if we have a different size, I think he needs to have an intermediary size, because these go a little bit too abruptly. I'm making the smaller one here now. And yeah, I get a little bit of a noticeable between them. I don't know what you call it, just where the corner of the tool is. David Nittman used to make tons of these beads, and what he did was he'd sharpen his beading tools so that they had a sharp corner on the edges, so they didn't have that little radius between beads. Well, one thing I can do here is I can take my pyramid and I can aim between the beads and clean it up a little bit if I want to. The other thing I do is, and here's another nice little new tool, if you will, idea. I'm slowing the lathe way down here, and I'm going to do some sanding between the beads. First thing I do, and this is some sandpaper I'll show you here in a second. First thing I do is take, this is 400, but first thing I do is take 240 and just, I'd like to have some of that stuff, which is double-sided, take a double-sided piece of 240 and just go between them. I'm not rolling over the top of the beads. I'm just going between them with the double-sided sandpaper. And then I'll take my, I need to move out a bit here. I'll take my double-sided sandpaper of the next grit for 400, and now I'll roll over the top of the beads. So this does both sides at once. Pretty cool stuff. What is this cool stuff? It's called Grit Grip, and their website is grit-grip.net. Let's see if I need to maybe focus there a little better. grit-grip.net. And they have all grits. I just bought the 400 to start with at SWAT, and I didn't know if I would like it. I didn't know what I would use it for, but I always like to try stuff, and now I see that it's fantastic for sanding beads. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we're winding down here. I could do a few more beads, or I could I don't know what I could do. If you have any questions, now's a good time. The chip out at the apex of the bead, and this is ash, which is that kind of chippy wood. A good strategy is stop just shy of engaging the very center of the beading tool. Another strategy that is happening here is that is that the one? That's that one. When you do this back and forth kind of motion, when you do the back and forth motion here, what you're basically doing is cutting a little bit on this side of the bead, I'm exaggerating, and then a little bit on this side of the bead, and this side, and this side. And then when you get to the middle, you're kind of going across it. You're not just pushing straight in. And there's a little tear out. I don't know if it's really tear out. It's pretty smooth, and it's sanded really nicely. And you can see on my ginger jar how nice the beads came out with the sanding I did there with that grit grip stuff and then other grits. How do I sharpen the beading tool? Of course, on a platform, and that is super easy. So let me just go over there right now and take a second to show you. Here we are at the grinder again. I've got it set for 25 degrees, which is not the correct angle for this. So what I'm going to do is put it on the platform, and it's not supported back here. And then I'm going to roll it up until it contacts the wheel. This is the old-fashioned hand sharpening technique. I'm holding it perpendicular to the wheel, and I'm not letting it roll also. I'm holding it sighting down on it so I get straight across the bead, and that's all there is to it. Sharpen it until it cleans up the surface. So that's how I sharpen the beading tool. But that's all I had for today. What I'd like to do now is a drawing. I love drawings, and so clean me up a little bit. Let's go to here. What you're going to do is type #ginger in the comments. Not your name, not where you're from, no spaces, just #ginger. And let me get here. There it is. And we'll give you a couple of minutes here. And Oh, right. I'll just make a bead or two while you all are putting your comments in there. Here we are with the beading situation. And when I was doing these beads, I had the tool rest parallel to the surface. Now when I go around the corner, I'm going to move the tool rest, because when the beading tool is flat straight on the tool rest like this, it cuts evenly. If I'm trying to support it here and cut way over here with both points of the tool on the rest, now the beading tool this is an exaggeration, it's kind of rocked over as it contacts the wood, so it's not going to make the same size bead. So I want to get it pretty parallel, and I'm aiming for the corner to go right there in where the corner of the last bead was. The fishtail side to side motion is cutting on one side and then the other. I'm not pushing real hard is another thing. And now what if I'm ending right here? To transition between a bead and something else, I'm just using a negative rake scraper and scraping some facets on the adjacent surface to make kind of a half bead that can then be sanded with that grit grip stuff. All right, how are we doing with our entries? Let's see here. I got to go here and here and here and here, and there we are. My glasses are this beading tool operation is very dusty because it's not taking a lot of wood off. It's scraping rather than cutting, and the wood is dry. So, and I don't really want to do it on wet wood because then it's going to distort, and I want those beads precise. So as far as comments go, you don't want that. Just ginger, #ginger, or you'll be disqualified. You can have a capital, you can have all caps, you can have, nobody's done it, all lowercase. Here it is. You can have all lowercase, but nothing but just #ginger. And think ginger cat, because this is in honor of my favorite ginger cat and KK's ginger cats and anyone else who might happen to have a ginger cat. All right, how are we doing for entries here? We're not getting a whole lot more, so maybe it's time to do a drawing. All right, let's do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the draw button, and somebody's name will come up, and then we'll do it again. And so the two names I draw will get entry into the IRD for the ginger jar on October 25th. Okay, so here we go. Draw number 1 over here. Okay. Ah, yes, he means ginger cats like Mr. Cooking Fat. Jim Byron, congratulations, Jim. Yeah, I hope you have a ginger cat. And if not, maybe you need one. So get your entries in. We got, I'll just give you a couple more minutes. If you haven't already done the entries, do them and get them in there. And I'm going to take the banner down because once I make this last drawing, it won't be, I don't want that up there because no one can enter anymore. All right. Hyam. Oh, you did get it right. If you misspell, you can just do it over again. All right. We're ready. We're ready. Oh, here's a question. We'll answer this question while we're giving people another couple of seconds to enter that drawing. The D-Wave tools give a better surface on end grain pieces versus side grain. End grain. Oh, yeah, like on the end grain. I would guess so, because you'll you'll you won't have that tear out that was mentioned before. If I sharpen my beading tool with the burr down, why not cut with the burr facing up? I am cutting with the burr facing up, aren't I? No, I'm not. Well, I don't know. That's a fine point that may or may not make any difference. It might be worth, though, getting a half round file and honing the burr off so that there isn't a burr facing down. Good point. I'll try it. All right. The sanding net info faster later. Yeah, I can actually type that in the thing as soon as I'm done. I thought about making the code be Ginger Cat. Carter would have appreciated it. All right, well, okay, no stalling. Here we go. Draw again. One more winner, and then we're done. Good luck, everyone. Okay. Okay, DocWorks, whoever you are. I may not be able to find you. So if you were on StreamYard, then I could find you. If you're on YouTube, then you're going to have to contact me. So yeah, if you could contact me by email, let me put my email. I don't have it. You can find it on my website. Did I just do that? My website. There it is. And I don't know, I need to make a little button for my email. Seems like I don't have one. All right. All right. And here's the stuff. grit-grip.net. Somebody try it and see how that goes and maybe post a full HTTP thing on it in there, if you would. All right. Well, I think, I think we are all done for the day. Let's get back here and here. And yeah. So thank you so much. Oh, KK, thank you very much for my email. Yeah, it'll be on a Stream Deck button momentarily. And that's how to get a hold of me if you won and you need to get a hold of me and you can't figure it out. However, if you Droz is kind of an uncommon name, and there aren't that many Cindys in woodturning. So if you go to Google or any search engine and you type in Cindy woodturning, that's me. You'll get me easily. I'm not hard to find. And thank you, Tom. That's the full thing there. And they have a bunch of, and .com works too. Well, that means he's a smart guy and he's bought every domain name somebody might accidentally use. That's pretty good. All right, so we're done with things here, and I'd like to bring Todd back if he's ready for one more little moment here.
Sorry, back. I had to run out for a quick second.
Well, you're a working guy.
Yeah. Good live stream. Great attendance. It's fun to see everybody in the chat and kind of asking questions and stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, sure enough. And so this is our Zoom sharing session up right now, but you're going to see Todd next week. And yep. I put it in before, but we'll do it again. Here's how to find him. And here is how to find me. And if you sign up, you get the links to these sharing sessions, the links to our Friday live streams, and everything else. Todd does specials, so you get some discounts and stuff from him. Me, not so much.
Well, you do a drawing every week or every
I do. Weeks, okay, so to be fair, it's not like I never give anything away. I just don't have the technology for those website codes and all that stuff, so I don't do that.
Yeah, no worries. Good stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I just did a demo for a local club last night, so did a little piston box. So that was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's a cool thing, that piston
Yeah.
box. I have one.
Yeah, I managed to get it done in like an hour and 10 minutes. It was a
Wow.
rush.
Oh, that's great,
So,
though. That's great.
yeah,
That way
yeah,
you have time for questions and you look
yeah,
like a real pro. That happened
yeah,
to me at Rocky Mountain. My demo's supposed to last an hour and a half, and I did it in like an hour and 5 minutes. I'm like, ooh, what do I do now? But it turned out to be great, actually,
yeah,
because there was
yeah. It
time for
worked out.
extras.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I did a local one on Tuesday.
Well, good luck with your classes next week. That should be a lot of fun.
I'm going to be working hard, and it's
Yeah.
going to be fun. And you can still sign up. If you're far away, it might be hard to get here in time, but you got 3 days.
Yeah.
So hope to see y'all there. Thanks, Todd.
You
We'll
bet.
see
Thank you,
y'all
Cindy. Bye,
next
all.
time. Bye-bye. Oh. And